In part two on past lives, I want to talk about the gifts from our past lives because we bring these gifts in. So we learn to play the piano again, or have to learn to draw again, but we actually already have done it before. Our talent lies in the past and comes from where we've been before. But this life as a human, as Wendy this life, I have to relearn it, but I have a whole backup in my past life history that I already have done this before. There's a familiar feeling. Usually there's also an interest, a longing to sing or to play musical instruments. And although we might be daunted by it, our soul keeps nudging us until it manifests into our real world. Others are frequently involved in exposing us to the new gift. I was driven to buy my husband a lathe. My sons and I hid it in the shed before his birthday. I knew he had the innate skills to work with wood and that his talent came from lives of woodwork. When we presented him with his gift, he was daunted. Although he knew on a deep level that he had the ability, it took time to relearn his skills. Eventually, he made beautiful wooden bowls and extended his knowledge to wood carving. As a gift of love, he made an amazing wooden rocking horse as a family heirloom. Sometimes we have knowledge of our past lives and our friends' past lives or our family's past lives, and then we are compelled to give them a particular item. When you have a feeling to give someone a particular thing, remember that it is spirit reminding them of a latent gift. I remember being given a glass pendant and told to work out how to use it. After years of practice, I'm skilled at using any kind of pendulum. It is an incredible tool in my work. But it was funny when my friend gave it to me because her and I had no idea what to do with the pendulum at first. Today it rarely leaves my side and has brought an independent eye into my spiritual and psychic practices. It was told to me at a time when the pendulum would be used as my eyes, and it is now a powerful tool for healing, and the message proved to be right. Help is always at hand when we pursue our calling. As we step ahead, more doors open, and as long as we are ready and able to work, it continues. There are times when others have told me they did not know why they had to buy me a certain angel or crystal, but it was a strong, undeniable urge. Take the time to learn your gift and your craft and keep improving. It takes dedication and effort to master our skills. Knowledge that what I know is from previous incarnations, and I build upon my foundation. My Tibetan lives propelled mastering the singing bowls, and I use the cards to hone my ability to do the psychic readings. However, I had to put in hundreds of hours to teach myself again and build up my confidence. I remember the first time I used my cards to do a reading and my hands were actually shaking. When I have completed my work on earth, I take the knowledge into my next life. Nothing is lost. Then when the time is right, it comes flooding back. Our past lives are like a hard drive waiting to be accessed. So follow your gut instincts and don't be put off by the hard work needed to reach your chosen path. Now I want to talk about musical gifts. Musical gifts pass down through the ages. We continue to play an instrument from another life or sing in every life. And our love of music is expansive and we cannot live without music in our world. In some lives we worked and excelled in our field, whereas in other lives we had different careers and music became a passionate hobby. When I see people's past lives, they are playing a variety of instruments throughout the ages. Certain instruments will hold a fascination because we remember playing them before. Often we are drawn as children to our chosen instrument and nag to go to guitar or singing lessons. And as toddlers, we are banging the saucepans with a stick or making music. Wise parents encourage the gift, providing instruments and tuition. And usually the parents and grandparents have an instinctive desire to buy the children whatever they needed. I remember meeting my husband in town for lunch. We wandered into a music shop afterwards and came out with an electric guitar. The experience felt unreal, and it took over 6 months to pay for the guitar for our son. He was bought for my middle son, who possessed a keen love of music. I would listen to him playing loudly in his room and never regretted an unexpected purchase. Over the years, the same urge would come, and a clarinet, piano, and violin arrived on his birthday. Other times we have an interest or yearning to play, but have not acted upon it. It is wonderful to find out that we played the violin or piano before. It means we have a gift to draw on. The work to relearn how to play or read music has to be done, but with practice it does become easy. Those of us who play by ear have been skilled musicians in past lives, and the gift is natural and honed at times of playing. As singers, we have a similar calling. We were in troops, travelling from town to town performing, and in this life we're the people who are singing in the shower at the karaoke night and around the house. Our voices are geared for singing, and some of us require little to no tuition. The songs and notes flow effortlessly, and our soul is alive. Be brave and follow your interest in learning an instrument that brings you joy. It completes us spiritually to be playing or singing again. And healing comes from music because it vibrates and affects the aura in a positive way. I always loved the Tibetan bowls, and the first time I experienced a bowl healing, I felt like I'd connected to a part of me. From that time on, I purchased 3 ancient bowls and adore using them. In past lives, I would have played them for joy and healing. I sourced old bowls because my memory was with handmade bowls. It was strange because although I played them easily at home, I could not get many bowls to play when I was in some metaphysical shops. Perhaps it was because the bowls were machine manufactured. The experience showed me how important certain instruments are, and when we discover them in this life, we feel like we've come home to ourselves. Music is part of our soul, and every life it calls us back. I remember seeing a picture of one of my sons. He was playing a piano in a past life, and he was on a stage, and he had like the tails, and he was playing classical music. And it just reminded me that when I had the urge to buy him the piano, that was why I had that urge. It was very, very strong and overwhelming. And now I can see when he plays the piano that he's tapping into the old life. The next part I want to speak to are the healing gifts. So our spiritual gifts are with us every life. We carry them through. And whether we activate and use them is really our choice. Sometimes it's in our sacred contract, and that is why we have returned to Earth, and other times we activate it for our personal reasons. These gifts does not mean we use them, though. Unlike other past life gifts, the healing gift is bound by different laws. I've met people who were gifted, yet had no desire to use it for the greater good. Healing and psychic gifts are by their name gifts, and the gift is meant to be given. We are the ones who decide who receives the gift, but the gift is not only for us, it's for other people. There is a happiness and satisfaction working with spirit and using it. However, the gift is predominantly to heal, guide and enlighten the recipient. I use my gift to do work on myself. Sometimes I do my own cards and use my pendulum. But I always know that the gift is actually to be given, and that's why I have to use the gift to help other people. That's what my basic thought about healing gifts and psychic gifts are. Usually our gift activates when we're ready, and then we'll meet like-minded souls on the journey. In our material world, many people are uncomfortable, do not believe in the spiritual nature of life, and people understand and accept musical gifts, artistic gifts, sporting gifts. However, healing and psychic gifts are not always accepted, and in some cases seen as the devil's work, or the person with the gift is seen as mentally unstable. In my work, I have been visited by dead people who in the human world made fun of me and did not believe it and thought I wasn't genuine. And then once they passed and wished to connect with loved ones, they turned up at my house asking me to relay messages. They always looked somewhat sheepish, but I did as they asked, and it was funny how we were together doing the spiritual work. So miracles do happen. Being spiritually and psychically gifted often brings problems with family, friends, and the general population. Our vibrations are dissimilar, and it is difficult for them to access us, and we may be able to see them clearly, but through their filter, our reality is unseen. I understand we see with different lenses and accept their blindness to my light. And when they cross over to the other dimension, all will be revealed. So I have no need to convince or try to show them while they're on the physical plane. Vibration increases. Acceptance of higher powers is manifesting. However, owning who we are in society may bring rejection and some mockery. Over the decades, I have become used to their responses and understand their stand. And while I'm in touch with my human soul, they wish to view the world only through the human eyes. My solution has to be step into their world and keep the connection purely human, and I keep them comfortable by showing my human side. However, I own all of myself, and I'm grateful for my gifts. And as you know, it is silent work working with spirit quietly on ourselves and others. I continue to send healings and prayers to their souls, and I give messages veiled as human talk to allow them to access the information. And when I receive help from Spirit, I relay the message in the way that they can access. Using our healing gifts is like coming home. I love the work and want to improve my skills and serve in a spiritual way. And over the decades, I read extensively and practiced daily. I asked for guidance when I was told to send healing or give a message. I found an avenue to do so. My life is a spiritual one. My past life gifts are continuing activating, and I'm moved from massage to healings to readings and writing books, and now doing this work on the internet. My artwork was channeled, and it serves as another medium. Once we decide to use our gift, our path is set, but it is still guided. Sadly, I have encountered many highly gifted ones who decided not to fulfill their purpose, and so in all things we have free will. The spiritual path is difficult, and there are multiple lessons. Our teachers guide and help us, but we have to do the work. Embrace your past life gifts and extend them. Have breaks when it's too challenging, and try to keep focused on your sacred contract. While musical and literary gifts are wonderful, they are different to this gift, and we are bound by spiritual laws and our promise of how to use it. It is never purely our gift because it comes from a higher source. Gifts come from our past lives, and we have been maybe mystics, medicine men, healers, clairvoyants, mediums, and gypsies. And once we begin this life, it will reactivate. We can be born with it, knowing we have it, or find out later. I only realised my gift after I had a serious accident, crossed over and came back. And afterwards my gift began to manifest, and I worked on improving my clarity and clearing my aura to become a better channel. Children with the gift easily speak and see spirit, talk to them and relay messages, and they have a wise counsel and appear much older than their years. However, adults can have this gift too and not even realise it, like I was. Adults will have premonitions and receive messages, but not everyone works in the psychic world, but it does not make their gift less real. We see our deceased mum and hear voices. We have dreams, which are signs and warnings. It is a natural gift and comes from our soul. The gifts come in family groups and are passed down through the children. Often grandparents who have the psychic gift will end up having psychic grandchildren in their midst. My gift was always there, and it explains why I knew things and why others would ask me how I knew it. At the time I was not aware, but once it unfolded, I worked at honing it. Those of us who have had lives of healers have the psychic gift too, and healers make good readers and have many insights to offer, and they channel easy and have access to many records on the other side. Many of us lived in Atlantis, Lemuria and Egypt, and these places were highly developed psychically, and we knew how to use crystals and telepathy. Today these souls who lived in these places are walking among us. They are working in technology, lasers and computers. Lives contain the information needed to invent and make devices and practical tools. So the nerds of today were the geniuses of the past. The scientific gifts are very interesting. Many of us had highly developed lives in other dimensions, and when we reincarnate, the knowledge and the gifts are embedded in our aura, and the reason we return is to share our gift and advance Earth. As children, we are fascinated by science and all its facets. Our thirst for learning is strong, almost compulsive, and growing up, our interests are geared towards the scientific, and we work in science areas. Having spent time in other scientific worlds, it becomes natural, and from a young age till death, we constantly seek information. Usually we combine our gift with a love of maths and excel in both areas. We are the inventors and people who work on the cutting edge of new ideas and projects. Our minds are logical and our gift expansive. And in our career, we shine and are capable of bringing original ideas into reality. The world benefits as exciting inventions and innovations are discovered, and often there is a doggedness in our personality which ensures our gift is fully utilised. Our scientific interests are encompassed in our home life, and we are fascinated by gadgets and tools, and our houses are filled with finished and unfinished projects and books about our latest passion. One idea promotes another, and our minds are constantly thinking and creating. The gift is rarely switched off. Many of us lived in Atlantis, Lemuria, and here we gained experience with lasers, crystals, healing, and technology. Now we draw from our past lives and remember how to invent or advance scientific areas. The use of crystals and lasers comes from there and is carried in our soul memory. It is an old ideal which had been honed and perfected, and telepathy and communication devices came from the past lives that we had before. These civilizations were advanced in comparison to us, and we've only just begun to remember our past. Computers are a sign of the age, and our connection and ease with using them is because we have done it all before. And there is a familiar feeling because many of us use similar technology in other ages. Scientific gifts benefit mankind and change the world. Some of us have come to bring in a new idea or an invention, are able to construct it again. The process may take time and effort, but with our internal memories, our gift is realised. When we have the scientific gifts, our minds are generally geared towards logical, and everything needs to be proven. Science is our Bible of life, and we adhere to its principles. Our thoughts are pragmatic and analytical, and when it cannot be proved by science, we often dismiss it. Having a scientific gift enables us to work in exciting areas and be involved in research and discoveries. Manipulating and converting energy is common in other realms, and we are beginning to work with energy in new ways. Our soul remembers how to make or fix things, and our life becomes an extension of our former scientific lives. While on Earth, we build on and extend our knowledge bank. In other constellations, they are far ahead from Earth. We seem like infants in the field, and however, when our souls decide to return, they bring with them these wealth of ideas. We choose families and times in the world to come back and utilise our gift. The world has to be ready for a new invention or to have an idea float out. Timing is actually paramount. Scientists are often born in families where the gift is active. We have a parent or family member who has the genes to pass on and encourage us, and the gift is embedded in our soul body and given through the ages. I have a son who's very scientific. He's a physicist, and I know that he's had lives in other places. He's not working in the realm I am, and I feel that we're quite different in a sense, but in another way we aren't, because we've come into the family to extend the gifts in whichever way they are. In my next part, I'll be talking about more gifts that we have, and I hope you've enjoyed the video. I find all this stuff just so fascinating, that we have these lives all embedded in us, and we just have to try and remember what they are. So enjoy your week, and love and light to you. Talk soon.